Hey guys, Alex Loosemore here. Just want to talk to you guys for a quick second about our partnership with Zagnif Apparel. So you can visit Zagnif Apparel today for all your apparel needs. From activewear to casual clothing, Zagnif Apparel has something everyone is guaranteed to love. Visit ZagnifApparelDesign.com today and use the code NEP15 as you see it on the screen for a 15% discount on select items. Zagnif Apparel, dress like you're already famous. Thanks again to Zagnif Apparel for the partnership with the show. Now let's get back to it.
How's it going, everybody?
Mr. Sean Spencer.
What's going on?
What's up?
And Scott. I guess Scott don't want anybody to know his real name, so.
Oh.
I told you Sean would be the first one to like my name.
Hey.
He didn't say like it. He said, and Scott.
What's going on, gentlemen?
How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Doing great. I'm not working today.
Last show, Sean Spencer and Ben Cornett had this great idea of doing a show on documentaries. So that's what we're here to do today.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a show on documentaries. I'm probably most into the serial killer stuff, the true crime documentaries and stuff. Sean's made a mention of Waco and those kind of shows. Ben, what are you into?
Oh,
I know sports.
Pretty much the same thing. The one I watched recently was It Just Come to Max. It was originally on Discovery Plus. It was called The Curse of the Chippendales. It's about
I haven't got around to that one yet.
Yeah, how the Chippendales were formed, how there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that ended up with a couple people being murdered, or one being killed, one committing suicide. The founder of the Chippendales committed suicide. He was in prison, serving time before his trials. So yeah, that was the one I watched recently. It was pretty good. It's a 4-part documentary. It's right now on Max, so if you want to check it out. It's pretty interesting how the Chippendales formed, and then had all this stuff going on behind the scenes. So yeah,
Sean, you can send him the link if you want to.
Yeah, let me see that. What was the name of that, Ben?
The Curse of the Chippendales. It's on Max right now.
Yeah, I have seen it up there. I haven't got to it yet. I'm thigh deep into I lived with a serial killer. A lot of it's about the families and how they had to deal with all this stuff, trauma and stuff going on around them. And after the serial killings been put away, and how they have to deal with life moving forward and stuff. It does break down what happened, and it goes intensively into the search for the person and stuff like that, which is always intriguing. Scott, how about you? What kind of documentaries are you into there?
I like them all. I watched Arnold Schwarzenegger yesterday, and it was pretty interesting how he talked about his father beating him with a belt, and it wasn't uncommon because all the other kids in the neighborhood were being beaten with belts and stuff, and his father wanted him to go out and keep active and get a job, and he was very competitive with his brother, and how he always admired America, and he always considers himself an American even before he was naturalized, and how he brought his bodybuilding to the United States and earned his way up into acting, and then the governorship of California, and how well he did then. And all of a sudden he started making these mistakes and people oust him. So I guess that's why he went back into acting. Besides messing with the maid.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. But yeah, it is pretty interesting the way that it's.
Chopper. Get him to the chopper.
You got the wrong show today, guy. I don't know who this is, but this is an entertainment review.
I got a
We're not
feeling
doing
this might
sports
be
today.
one of
Probably
those.
Corey.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
not coming back though. But yeah, no. Hey, so the Giants. To your point, so I've been watching Waco and watching that whole series. Actually, there's the series on, I think it was Showtime, called The Waco: The Aftermath, which followed the people that actually did come out of the compound, and how most of them were actually charged with like attempted murder. They charged them with conspiracy to kill FBI agents and this and that. And it was just so that's why I went back a lot to Waco to kind of figure out. And there's so many conflicting stories on what happened, who shot. Did they have the guns ready inside the compound, or was it like survival? They're shooting on us. Go get the guns. And
anytime in a situation like that, you're hearing two different sides, and the truth is usually right somewhere in the middle there.
Right.
So it's
but just simply the aftermath and how like some of those people got serious time for this whole thing, and it just made you look at it differently, because it's like, some of the people that were a part of the team that kind of came in, they got lifted up. I know the series was done more from the perspective of the negotiator, who wrote a book afterwards about it. But and just I love how they made the correlation from that to then Ruby Ridge before, but after the Oklahoma City bombing.
Right.
So
and that was to me, I thought that was a push, because I don't think the Oklahoma City bombing, there was anything that correlated really honestly with Waco at all.
Yeah.
It's two different situations, man. And the whole why did they go in there? Why did they, it's because we heard there's guns. Damn well in an investigation they have to have proof of guns, they have to have eyes on of these crimes, right? Before they go in there. And they never had any of that stuff, but dude, none. There was
I was going to say it was a different world back then. 30 years ago, you didn't have the technology that.
But even 30 years ago, they always try to set up a guy inside, so that eyes on the prize. I mean, I was arrested.
I don't think it was as much guns as it was. We don't want another Ruby Ridge.
Right.
We don't want another situation where we killed some members and everything, albeit we got them out. We don't want that situation. And it was a black mark on the FBI, on the special agents.
Well,
and now they had the same situation.
Pulled out, early on. And that's really the first time you ever saw that, like the FBI actually surrendering to anybody, that never really seen before. And that, I think that was very unique, and I think that's what got me with this Waco, the one on Netflix, this documentary was like, wow. I mean, you had like, people in, in the Marines that were with the FBI, and you had them back out, I just never seen that before. That was really fascinating to me. And then it just led to like, we know how it ended, but it just was an amazing thing that we've never seen, on national TV before. Every day it was reported. People, news stations, reporters are outside just waiting to see what. I mean, it was like probably the most must-see TV that was actually reality TV before reality TV came along. So it's
Well,
pretty
they
unique.
did kind of the same thing, except without CNN. They did the same thing with Wounded Knee, man. I was there at Wounded Knee with my father, and we were getting moved around constantly because they didn't want us getting shot and stuff. But that situation and what you saw on TV were completely two different stories, man. They were you were only getting one side of the story on TV, man. The rest of it was completely different.
And see, there's an editor, there's a producer, there's a, they're all chopping up the story and changing it just a little bit. I've been actually reading a book. I know this is off topic, but it still kind of correlates. I've been reading a book my dad gave me. My dad was always in the news back in like the 50s and 60s, had his like the first African American TV show in like the 70s through like ABC and stuff like that. And he's always told me about how when the actual story gets covered, by the time it gets to air, it gets chopped up in so many different ways. And it's perfect when you talk about all these situations. The media is seeing these is viewing these like Koresh as, what do they say, the sinful Messiah, and leading these kids, and he's doing all this. One of the things they came in, it wasn't even necessarily the guns that they really came in for. They came in because they heard reports that he had 14-year-old wives, multiple wives, and had sex with, doing those type of things. And the crazy part about it is they came in being like, oh, that's immoral. We're going to be the moral police and kind of take over. And the media opposed it. The propaganda from the media that, oh, these guys are awful. And like you said, always on the TV, always going. It was crazy.
I have been around a bunch of Branch Davidians, and they are some lunatics.
Really?
They are crazy people. Yes.
Wow.
And I was locked up in a county jail in Texas, man, when there were some Branch Davidians in there, and they got these codes that they tap on the pipes and stuff. They do Morse code and stuff, talk to each other and shit. They're kind of lunatic, man. They're military. They got a military establishment amongst the hierarchy there,
Yeah.
But you can't judge anybody by face value, man. You gotta know somebody to judge somebody, and you shouldn't be judging anybody. Personally, us, we shouldn't take face value judgments off anybody, man. That Waco thing was good.
I thought I love that. That was the first publicized cult. I was very big into Jonestown as well. I've seen documentaries on that.
I was fixing to bring up Jonestown too.
Yeah. But that Waco was the first time we saw it. But Jonestown with all that, like, I've always wondered, how the heck, and I've seen so many documentaries, how did you get all of those people to drink that? Like, knowing people are dying.
How did the women take over Jonestown? Because in the end, it wasn't Jones doing all this.
Yeah.
In the end, it was Jones and the Joneses' wives that were doing all this.
Yeah.
And that was when I never knew that before. And then when that documentary came out, I was like, holy shit, I had no clue about all this.
Yeah.
Makes you kind of wonder about Manson, huh?
Well, Manson was way before the Koresh thing. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's what's so fascinating about cult figures is how people believe in these guys, believe in these people. It's like I've always been fascinated about how can you be so, I don't know, I guess they're just so personable and I guess people that follow these, people just want to be accepted somewhere. It's like maybe they had a bad childhood or they just didn't have any friends. They feel like they're underappreciated or undervalued, and then comes along whoever, like a Koresh or a Charles Manson or a Marshall Applewhite, whatever you want to, whoever, and they feel like, okay, they just talk to you, put their beliefs in you, and then all of a sudden you just follow their lead. And it's just, I always am curious what makes these people that follow them, there has to be more to it than just like insecurities and,
Yeah, because if you just take it off of what you see in the news and you hear, you ask yourself, what the hell? How could anybody buy this stuff, right? but there's got to be something. There's got to be a hook. There's always a hook for everything that anybody gets involved in. You get hooked in somehow. You have to be hooked, and they always kind of leave that part out. What was the hook to all these?
Right.
I think a lot of them were looking for a father figure or husband figure. The kids were totally innocent. I mean, they just were led astray by Koresh and whoever else was in power back then.
Well, like with Koresh, like he was talking about, the kids were like the government's the demons, man. They were enjoying life like they were doing, and then it just like these demons came in and started shooting us up and taking our people and stuff. That's how they looked at it, dude. So like I said, there's always a side to every story.
Right. And to the point, and see, to your question, Ben, what got into the head? I mean, this is why I love the version of Waco, the aftermath, because they tell the story of the guy David Thibodeau, the guy that was the bass player or whatever, and he ended up joining in there, and how he wasn't ever really sold, but it was the charisma of David Koresh and the fact that they played music and the fact that he made it all real. You know what I mean? And I loved that story because it wasn't about the teachings, or the Messiah and all that nonsense. It was about kind of the other way, like just how David was, how he was so welcoming and inviting and everything. But still, even in that, I remember there was one point where he was like, they had the scene when he was telling everybody that, hey, I've had a vision from God that all the men are supposed to be celibate but me. That's where I'm kind of like, bruh, if he came to me and said that, I'm like, all right, it's time to go. All right.
Right.
He got a little bit too much. We got to go.
I need to go get some.
Right. I'll walk out. I'm done. About.
Even Manson, as crazy as he was, he shared his women.
Right.
He might have should have held off on sharing his women with Tex, though.
Yeah. Well, I had a run-in with Charles Manson in 1969 when I was coming from my dude ranch in Tucson, Arizona. My parents had picked me up and we went out to California to visit some relatives. And we stopped at Bakersfield at a rest stop. And there was a guy there and I was playing my guitar and he asked me if he could play my guitar. And I said, sure. And we introduced ourselves. I said, my name's Scott. And he said his name was Charlie. And, nobody knew who he was back then except for the people that were with him. And I was leaving and he said, do you have any food you can spare? Well, we were in like a 15-foot travel trailer pulled behind my parents' Cutlass Supreme. And I asked them and my parents gave me a expired box of Raisin Bran and I gave it to him and he thanked me.
That's why he went on his killing spree, because you gave him expired Raisin Bran.
Now we know, ladies and gentlemen, right here on.
And then I heard Scott's dog barking. That must be the FBI at your door, dude.
Then I was invited to go with him to the ranch.
Oh.
Ooh.
I said, well, I'm too young. I was only like 14, 15 then. And
it's about the right age for his followers, man. So
yeah. And he even told me I could have all the sex I wanted.
Okay. I'm waiting for the FBI to come busting in your room now.
Well, I didn't go with it.
They're coming.
They're coming. You're the one that got away.
Right there. We all
waiting for you.
There it is.
See, like we said, we never know who somebody is until they start getting open.
That's right.
Yeah, I said I'm giving up. He said I put it on my tag. I'm good. I'm done. Serial killer. I'm giving you everything.
I lived a good life. I'll turn myself in now.
But can you really call him a serial killer? Because did he actually do any of the killing, or did he just order the killing?
Ooh. He was the mastermind, not actually the culprit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get into anything, but sometimes people can
gain
power and push other people to do things that.
Okay, here's the thing. You've heard, what hypnotism is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You cannot hypnotize somebody to do something that they wouldn't normally do in the first place. That's a fact in psychology.
Okay. But you can suggest something And
can
if
suggest,
somebody is
but it's got to
already
be
leaning towards
within that person. It's got to be
Right,
already
well,
within
right.
that person to do so.
But the hatred might have been in, but the manifestation of that hatred might not have been in. They might have been angry about it, but they didn't. You know, he might have just said, "Hey, well, if you relieve your pressure this way, here it is." Oh, what's happening right now?
You're now.
What?
You're now
He's trying
Dallas
to hypnotize you.
fan. You will now be a Dallas Cowboy fan. And at the snap of my fingers, you will be a Cowboy fan. You ready?
Well, I know that's not going to happen, and you're not going to hypnotize me to be a Buccaneers fan either.
Oh, Rams everywhere.
We don't need extra fans. We don't need extra fans. We like our stadiums where you can actually get in with some cheap tickets.
Our stadium, FedEx Field, is kind of a dump, yes, but we are the best hosts. Most of the last three games I've been to, the opponent's fans have outnumbered our fans 60-40. We can hear all their chants, but this isn't a football show. Let's go back.
Okay,
Or
let
maybe
me
it is.
segue to that real quick. The injuries that have happened on that field, with Alex Smith. Well, this was Joe.
Don't deny it, Sean.
No, it's true. Oh, not denying anything.
Let's have a documentary on that. Not so much.
We could do a documentary on FedEx Field, the serial killer.
But then we have to do one on Dan Snyder. We have to bring him into the fold.
Oh, there will.
There's going to be a big documentary.
Oh,
on
I
him,
can't
man.
wait for that one. But it's going to be years down the line because there's so much stuff that we don't even know that he's been doing.
Once these documents all get released, oh my God, it's going to be on.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Washington kind of makes people go a little bit crazy. It's like London Fletcher when he came there. First thing I noticed was he put a Super Bowl ring from the St. Louis Rams up for sale on eBay.
I knew he had to bring the Rams into it some fucking how.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, he could work London Fletcher into a Rams conversation.
Gracious.
And if anybody wants to be London Fletcher's Facebook friend, he goes by Bam Fletcher.
All right, we're just going to have to shut.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm good. I'm all right.
Oh, wow.
We're going to have to change the name of this show to Off the Rails because it got off the rails real quick.
All right, so Johnny, what have you seen lately? That
I've been watching. I watch a lot, but I watched stuck on this Living with a Serial Killer show.
Okay.
It's multiple shows and True FBI, which was pretty good because they did a breakdown of the Waco thing too, and that they did the Boston Marathon breakdown.
That's the one I saw on Netflix. Yes.
Yeah. And what was the other one they did that was really interesting? Oh, the 5-year-old kid that was kidnapped and put in a bunker. Yeah, they took there was a 5-year-old kid, and this is on one of the episodes of True FBI. There was a guy that walked onto a school bus, shot the school bus driver.
Oh my God.
Grabbed the kid, took him out of the bus and down into a bunker. Now, he wanted the television crews and all there, and it happened. The television crews came from all over the place and stuff. And he held him in that bunker for like 4 days. But this is another situation like Waco where the FBI were like, well, what do? We don't even know what the layout of the bunker is and this and that and stuff, They eventually went in, busted in the bunker, blew the lid off the bunker and went in and got the kid. But in doing so, man, there were so many chances that kid could have got killed. I mean, it was a mistake after mistake, the way they went in that could have ended up in that kid's life. It was just lucky. It was just luck that all the bullets that were flying around when they couldn't see a thing didn't hit the kid.
Wow. That's incredible, man.
It's incredible that it was on True FBI and it was FBI people talking about it, because usually they don't want to put themselves in that kind of light.
True. Yeah. Where can we find that for the people out there where we can watch True FBI? streaming
I
service?
believe it's on Max. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% certain because I that's all I do is watch streaming sites, and I got all these damn streaming sites. I can't keep track of them.
I'm looking it up right now.
All right.
I think there's a network called True Crime Network. I think it's been on that.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus. Okay, yeah.
Paramount Plus is a good one.
Yeah. I can't keep them straight no more, man.
There's so many of them, man. It's just
I finally ended up cutting the cable, man. I don't have any daytime TV. You know, I just put something on and let it run.
So
I
I
do
have
miss my
YouTube
NFL
TV.
Network though.
Well, that's why, I think you should get YouTube TV. I got that, and then you can add on certain things if you want to.
This is as
but it
expensive
gives
as regular cable was, man. I mean,
YouTube TV is like $64.
$75 is what they were advertising it as.
Well, it's worth it because you get your games in the fall. That's the thing. You get all your football games and any
If I
game
get
that
Sunday ticket, and
no, that's not out. No,
local games you get, but I have local TV. You know.
Oh well, then you're good then.
Not really. I'm a Buck fan living in Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah.
And we don't have Brady no more, so you know.
yeah.
All the games.
You get another game. Never mind. You're good.
My experience with streaming of football games is that friends of mine have gotten it, and I go over and watch it with them. But if it's a blackout locally, they don't air it, which that would be the main.
Blackouts were over with, man.
I don't know. Last year we were having.
Yeah, blackouts should be over with. They shouldn't be doing blackouts. The only time there's a blackout on, if you're watching Sunday Ticket and it's being aired locally, they'll tell you to go watch it on your local channel. That's pretty much it.
Well, I just joined LA Rams groups, and somebody live streamed it from their house. So it's not the best quality, but if you can't get the game, and I'm not paying for any more stream services because, cell phones, internet, cable, all that stuff, it gets expensive. I mean,
it adds up, man.
Yeah, I only paid $145 for my very first apartment back in 1974, and hell, you can't even get a streaming service for that.
Now you're like the old man telling everybody get off your lawn.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
So I must be a serial killer magnet because I don't know if you guys heard of the Sean Hornbeck case here in St. Louis. Michael Devlin, he kidnapped several boys, and the first one that he's attributed to kidnapping disappeared, and he had a farm, and they went around with those devices where they can look into the ground looking for the body, but they never found one. But
oh wow.
When I carried mail out in Kirkwood, Missouri, on Saturdays every 6th week, since I had a collection route, and you don't have collection routes on Saturday, I would get an hour off this Route 8. And I was walking back from doing the houses, and I got to an apartment complex, and these two little boys walked up to me, one little black kid and a white kid. And the black kid said to the white kid, he says, "Are you Sean Hornbeck?" And he said, "No, my name is Sean Devlin." And he was giving me signals so I could call the police, let somebody know. And I called into the post office, and if there's anybody here working for the post office, please forgive me, but the supervisor told me to stay out of it, that if he wasn't Sean Hornbeck and I turned in Michael Devlin, I would lose my job if it wasn't true, or the post office gets sued. So they said, just leave it alone. So I have to live with that now the rest of my life because the boy had to go. The second boy, I can't remember his name, he'd gotten right before, and it was told that Devlin was about to kill Sean because he had a new boy to. But
here comes the FBI again to your door.
Oh, they talked to me. We had to put when we were throwing the case, any mail that went to Michael Devlin had to be taken out and given over to the FBI. So I was told by the police department, the Kirkwood Police Department, not to feel bad because they had Sean on a curfew violation because he was so brainwashed that he could just go outside. He had a girlfriend. He went to the movies. Michael Devlin took Sean to the Six Flags out here in Eureka, Missouri. And it's like, you can never tell these people are walking around.
It's true.
Oh, man. Okay, you just brought up something that's a personal peeve against that I got. Every time there's a serial killer, the media goes and interviews the neighbors, right?
Mm.
And the neighbors always are either one of two things. They're either, you could know he was such a nice guy, you never know that he was a serial killer. Well, how do you think he was getting away with it for so long, people? Understand what a sociopath is someone who has no emotions, but can mimic everything that they see. They're very intelligent people, man. They're very smart. And the other type of person is, I knew there was something wrong with this guy. Well, why the hell didn't you call in?
Yeah, right.
Well, that was the case with Jeffrey Dahmer's lady neighbor. She had called the police. She said she heard strange noises, and it sounded like people screaming and stuff. And the police ignored them. They went and looked into it.
What she basically did was describe rough sex.
Yeah, but what did she attribute all the sawing and saws going off in the middle of the night?
Very true.
I mean, Sean, at least Sean waits until
really bad
the morning.
Insomnia.
Yes.
What I get a kick out of too is
I was really wondering why he was in his car last week on our face. Or I'm sorry,
listen.
Looking over his shoulder too.
We will not discuss the transaction that happened.
and all the pounding on the trunk lid when he was in the car. Too. You got to make sure they're out, Sean.
I almost listen.
We haven't seen Cat in quite a while now.
Oh, right. Look, hey, Scott, you can tell all your secrets, but you better hold mine, man. Don't tell my stuff, all right?
Well, I won't say
we had a blood oath, brother. Come on, man.
You better take the other arm.
No, to be clear, hey, wait a minute, time out. To be clear, I know this is crazy. I'm on a Sunday. I'm free. Catherine and her twin sister went to West Virginia. No.
We'll delve into that a little bit later.
That is no. I would love to do an episode on twins because it is not what we were always taught in grade school. We were always talking twins. Oh, this is great. Double the fun. No.
Trust me, I know.
Well, Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger despunked that theory, though.
Oh, well, yeah. But yes.
But you went to church.
Did you bring up Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito's twins? Really?
Never seen that movie?
It's got to be like one of the worst movies of all time, man.
Really?
I think it would have to rank up there with one of the worst movies of all time.
I thought it was a very underrated movie myself.
That was funny in Arnold.
Underrated. Go ahead.
Arnold, when I was watching it yesterday, when he was governor, he went to his office and he was meeting with all his aides and stuff. And there was one guy that was really short, and he put his arm around him and said, "Twins, another twins." And the guy was totally shorter than Danny DeVito, and the guy just actually crouched down to make himself shorter. I was laughing my butt off. I guess it wasn't that funny.
And they're making another one.
God, you're great, man.
I think it's.
Are they really making another one?
Murphy, I think.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
So, Sean, do you always go to church on Sunday, or was it because your woman was away with her sister? And
let me be clear. I went to a church called Bedside Bible. That's where I'm laying in bed on my phone and watching church that's live streamed. However, I work.
Oh, we got a new guest in here.
It's the FBI. Yes.
Oh,
let's report something in.
Snap.
Found him. Yeah.
How you doing, Nathan?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing? Happy Sunday.
Good. How you doing, man? Thank you.
I'm doing good.
So, you got anything to add? What's one of your favorite documentaries, sir?
Oh man, I'm actually kind of an American history buff, so I've been lately into the Civil War, American Civil War.
Well, Sean was just talking about that too.
I'm actually starting to kind of branch out a little bit more, like the World Wars and other wars, not just here in America, but across the world, like the Napoleonic Wars.
Right.
I've just been a history brainiac. I mean, I don't count like Law and Order S or SVU or CSI as documentaries, but anything that involves a crime, you guys were talking about it earlier. I'm curious to know because I'm actually taking currently a criminology intro to criminology course, and literally like the first week of it was like asking like what defines a crime. So it's actually y'all were talking about that, ironically. So,
Well, yeah, that's a good question. What does define a crime?
I mean,
Like an act that has been committed, or something that's been involved with I'm trying to find the words for it. Like, say, like, there's something to be investigated. Something that's worth being investigated, looking into, and that's pretty much how I can explain it. I'm trying to. I don't know. That's the best thing I can come up with.
Is it morality, or is crime mostly morality based, or is it a specific thing like thou shalt not kill? That's we all assume killing is a crime. I mean, that's pretty much a given since birth, since we grow up, right?
Well, with some laws, they say it isn't necessarily one in certain circumstances. So we've kind of, albeit that is the overall stance, killing is bad, killing is wrong.
Right.
It is natural for us in a place that glorifies military to have some kind of numbness to killing in the right circumstances. So it does kind of throw a shade on certain killing, especially when you have situations like the Stand My Ground place where it's like, oh, well, if I'm justified in what I did.
Which that is gone into question now with what happened in Florida.
Right.
But I mean, you look at it, it's like, well, there's different types of things you can with the killings and stuff, like killing a human being compared to killing an animal or anything that's living or breathing. What is killing?
And if you go into these serial killers, you'll find that they always started with animals.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. So that's
one Dahmer, the one who like to take apart like the cat or something like that, or
roadkill.
Yeah.
So Dad and him used to pick up roadkill and take them back and go in their shed or whatever it was and
experiment.
Not experiment, but take their guts out and then stuff them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always wondered kind of that. Like I've wondered, like not with some of those guys, but some of the other guys that just kind of snap. What is it? Like you've heard about stories of guys that are relatively normal through most of their lives, and then all of a sudden, just boom, 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 things happen, and they just
kill look everybody. At Chris Benoit. Remember him? The wrestler Chris.
Yes.
All the years
that was roid rage though.
Brain injuries
but brain injury. He'd been wrestling for 20 plus years.
Yep.
Do it, and with his finisher was
the headbutt off the top rope. But when he had his brain to study, they showed the spots on there, which qualifies as CTE, and he had the memory of a 80-year-old with dementia.
How complicit is the doctors who allowed him to keep going and allowed him to experiment with roids and stuff? How complicit are they in that?
But we're also talking about the same wrestling company that endorsed and allowed habitual drug use from the 70s, 80s, 90s, even 2000s. Like, I hate to say it like this, but Chris Benoit,
you don't think John Cena went from a skinny kid to what he is now?
Right.
But I'm saying, but like,
Wheaties.
but John Cena and Eddie, I'm not John Cena, sorry, Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, sadly, were kind of the
Casualties.
the casualties of creating that wellness drug policy. There, we can go use other examples, like Chris Nowinski, who former wrestler, wrote a book on concussions, and he suffered. He said he lost count of how many concussions he had. It's just
Here, we had Lyle Alexander as an example of roid problems. Yep. We've had numerous examples of those problems. The thing is, society doesn't really pick up on that until there's a tragedy like with Benoit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because there already been plenty of CTE problems and stuff like that. I mean, look at the Washington football team, for example, and they just ignore it until there is an actual tragedy involving families or other members.
Also, wait a minute. Wait. Also, other teams do it, not just us.
No, I
don't know why you gotta use us as the example, though. That's what I'm saying, Johnny. I don't know why. That's the first thought that came to
the Raiders for an example. Then, okay, they well known previously, but you guys had a good example there with Taylor. So,
well, what's great too is and I'm glad Nathan's on because it kind of fits what we're talking about with he's studying criminology and stuff. I think it's great that he's gonna be in those classes, study that. So, with how we watch these documentaries, crime documentaries, like what makes a serial killer, what makes them go off and do this? Where does it start? Where does it, end? You know what I mean? So I'm glad we got Nathan on the show right now. Would love to hear more of Nathan with his, the criminology classes that he's taking. I think it's very good information.
Absolutely.
He's got his mic off.
And of course, that Scott's going to be taking notes, so he knows what not to do.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, are we going to see a show with Tua, the serial killer?
Oh, no, that's kind of a cold way of putting that, but there is a good question there.
Well, I mean, look at Junior Seau. Remember him?
Yep.
All of a sudden, after his retirement, he just had some issues, man. And with domestic violence, he had stuff going on, which ultimately, unfortunately, ended his life. In San Diego, where he was in that car crash. But yeah, I mean, CT. Not everybody, is a killer from birth.
Well, let's be honest. Most serial killers are sociopaths. They're not
right.
Turned
Not everybody's
into what they are.
Right.
They're not turned into what they are by CTE or anything. It's just that they were born lacking empathy.
Right. But see, I've heard stories on shows where people label Benoit as a sociopath. Now, I don't believe that because I believe the CTE got to him, and made him do these things. That's just my opinion. But I don't think every killer.
Well, you keep brushing aside the roid rage, man. But I think roid rage had more to do with than the CTEs, or it was a combination of both.
And the roid rage, it was the combination. Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying, not everybody was born a sociopath. Every killer was a sociopath. Some had the roid rage that led to the chemicals altering their brain.
Well, speaking of serial killers, that's basically what almost the one identifying factor in serial killers are they were all pretty much sociopaths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and is that isn't a learned behavior. A sociopath is born a sociopath. It's born a person.
In the case of Benoit, though, how many serial killers killed themselves?
Not very many, except unless they're caught.
They enjoy it. When they do it, they get a kick out of it.
Yes.
He was so gone that, and I'm not going to forgive him for this because he killed the woman who I can't remember her real name, but she was amazing. Yeah, and then their son, and then killed himself. So the roid rage, it wasn't so. He was with it. He was there when Eddie Guerrero passed. Before that, if you ever watched that, he was dead then. Because his mind, he did not understand in that video. If you watch it, he could not see himself living after Eddie passed. He had been so connected with Eddie that he was devastated by that. That was the I don't want to say that's the beginning, but that was kind of the to a Back to the Future reference when they, in Back to the Future 3 when they do the track and they say the point of no return. That's when the bridge is about to end. Like that was close to the end, and he should have gotten help. But I just hate when people just see the end of it.
But do we know for sure that he tried to reach out? And again, like many people can reach out for help, and it gets like, oh, we'll give you some help. Like Kurt Angle, for example, like he had a severe neck problem, and he was introduced to drugs.
Well, that's the industry.
It's like
WWE, man.
Sometimes it's like the industries that that athletes are a part, like football players, wrestlers, they kind of contribute to, unfortunately, what happened to Chris Benoit. What happened to
fan adoration too. Don't forget fan adoration is a big key in all that too. Because
great point.
You speaking of Kurt Angle, I mean he's like a god walking around Pittsburgh.
It's a drug. It's a drug, man. I'm telling you. And I've had a sliver of it in high school. I had a couple good games, and all of a sudden, coach is taking me out of class, and I'm talking at pep rallies, and and you get to this point where you're big and puffed up, and it's you don't know the feeling coming out of that tunnel, and and everybody cheering you, and getting loud, and on a grand stage, on a stage where the professional. Not even at just college. It messes with people, man.
Yep.
When you've been somewhere and everybody's like, "Oh man, I got you, man. Here's it," and then all of a sudden, the next guy up comes in, and you're not the guy.
Well, just put it in a common perspective. When you walk into a room and everybody in that room is happy to see you, that feels so good. Now multiply that by millions of times.
Exactly.
I had that. I had that feeling when I used to show dogs, being young and all that, and people always admired the way I showed my dogs, and they wanted me to show theirs. And for about 10 years, the ladies and everybody else wanted me to show their dog farm. There was always rewards with it, and then when that ended, I kind of felt lost. But I didn't go out and kill anybody.
Johnny clipped that.
That we love. Yeah.
I mean, I was a superstar in that environment.
Can you tell us about the favors that the ladies asked you after they showed your dogs?
Oh, okay, now Sean, you're asking for it now, man.
Let's put it this way: from the time I was like 12 years old until the time I stopped showing dogs, my girlfriends were usually 10 to 15 years older than me.
Whoa, man! Now you're getting not dogs, but cougar, right?
Oh, those golden years. Oh, those golden.
I was trying to be good. Johnny warned me about getting into this kind of thing on the shows.
Tell you, man.
But John, bring it up.
You're a steel trap, man. Can't get nothing out of you, man. All right.
Yeah, I had a friend from my 50th high school reunion tell me
and the skills trap just got rusty.
I'm fighting my way out. I'm breaking some of that rust off. But they said that I really looked like I kept myself in good shape, and I was very energetic and all that. And they said I really hadn't changed much from high school. And I told my wife that, and she says, "Have they seen you lately?"
Nathan, you said historical documentaries. What ones in particular? You got any one fresh in mind?
Professor?
I said you were talking about you like the historical, like the Civil War documentaries and stuff.
Yes.
Anything fresh in mind with you? What you've watched anything recently?
So there's this YouTuber that actually kind of will go break down certain battles, but I like particularly like the Ken Burns documentary.
Yeah,
those PBS.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good.
Yep.
There is a YouTube channel called American Fields Battle Trust. They've done the Civil War, and they've done Does Biting Ankles. What the hell?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Damn
Campbell.
Campbell.
Damn
Just biting
Campbell.
ankles make you a serial.
Ken
Not gonna lie,
Burns.
man. I thought that was you,
Go ahead,
Ben.
Nathan. Go ahead, Nathan.
Uh,
What were you gonna say about the Ken Burns document?
Yeah, that one. There's like little ones I find on YouTube. And like a couple ones I got on DVD. I've gotten. For
You have many rivers to cross.
No, I saw that one on Amazon actually.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one.
I want to get that one.
Well, you live in the DMV, man. So you've been to the Inner Harbor, right?
Yes.
So how many times did you sit on that cannon and think about the Civil Wars and the wars that thing's seen?
I've never been to Fort McHenry itself, but I've been to the Inner Harbor.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'm talking about right across the street from the Inner Harbor where you go park. They got that park where they got the cannons up there aimed over.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I used to sit up there. I used to sit up there, man, and just imagine what it was like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're in that one spot and you're thinking about all the film you've seen and all that stuff, and you try to imagine that from that spot, it's kind of hard to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got to picture the old wooden ships out there in the harbor and stuff, and the cannon fire going off. That it intrigued the hell out of me back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Fort
I never
McHenry, I'd love to go to
understood
Fort
Fort-
McHenry.
Yeah.
I
I'm glad you
haven't
said
been there either.
YouTube. YouTube's a great outlet for documentaries. You can find
Mhm.
anything. Like sometimes I'll watch 60 Minutes Australia, and they have a lot of good like documentaries and stuff on YouTube from like Australia, Canada, anywhere around the world. So yeah, that's a good place to find them, Nate. I'm glad you said YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, you can even find some on Netflix. Because actually, for a while, the Ken Burns documentary that was on Netflix.
Yeah.
And they took it off for some unknown reasons. But yeah.
Paramount Plus and Max now. Max is really loaded up with documentaries now.
Yeah.
I don't have those, but once I need to get on the train with those.
A lot of crime dramas, documentaries. Mostly it's the true crime documentaries that are taking over the world right now. So,
But honestly, YouTube, like even with some of those, you'll have people that will record it from wherever and then put it on YouTube, and it might not be the best of quality, but you're still seeing it. With YouTube, that's been my kind of rabbit hole with the crime documentaries, and I always start with kind of crime, but then it always gets to the political, racial things I like to do. You know what I mean? My dad was always huge into kind of looking at the color line through the media lens. But yeah, the Civil War, and then after the Reconstruction, and then coming up into the civil rights and all of that stuff. And then after, my dad was a Vietnam vet, so also Vietnam is.
Yeah. My dad was recalled to active duty for Vietnam to train SEALs, and that was a bad time in our life because that's when he resigned. He resigned his commission for that because they sent him to Cambodia. And he said he came home talking about, I ain't no fucking drug dealer. Fuck all them bastards.
There it is. Yes, there was so much, and see, that's what I love to watch in the documentaries. There's so many things that were done that were not right, not what was professed in the media and the news. Oh, this many people's dying, and this stuff is good. Or, oh, I don't know why there's a opioid epidemic here in the States.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, we make loans to smaller countries that don't have a way to pay it off, and then they take whatever means they can to get that payment back. Exactly. That's basically what Vietnam was all about, is because it was the look over here while we do this over here thing. We were in Vietnam, not supposed to be in Cambodia at all, but our black ops were all about Cambodia. That was just a big cover up for Cambodia paying us back in opium.
Yeah. Nathan, just so you know, I just actually bought the Mini Rivers to Cross on YouTube, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch that after we get off of here.
Yeah, let me know how that looks. How that looks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you
I
guys
have to look
watch
that one up too. Many
the?
Rivers to Cross, right?
Oh, go ahead, Nathan. What were you gonna say?
Henry
Do you guys watch the show Unsolved Mysteries?
Yes,
The old one.
I don't-
The old one.
not the
Okay,
same
here's
like
my
it was in
thing
the
with
80s.
Unsolved
Not the
Mysteries.
same like it was. in the
I
80s,
I can't watch a show that just leaves me hanging.
Yeah, I get you.
I can't do it, man. It drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Why do you give me all this
Look,
information
look.
and then just like drop? Screw you,
I'm gonna tell
man.
you. I'm gonna tell you. When I was a kid, I used to watch that with my grandparents, and that show was my horror movie because it would always end
With
like
the original Mission Impossible guy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it's like it would always end like we don't know where he is. So if you see him, and I'd be sitting here in the bathroom.
If you have any information,
That's
call us
why
at-
you were doing that in the car.
Yeah, see, I knew it. I lived that life, man. Always hide. What?
I appreciate you, Sean Spencer from Virginia. Thank you for watching. I miss Robert. That was like the voice of my childhood.
Robert
Yes,
Stack
yes.
is crazy,
You
man.
can never replace that dude. I'm sorry. He's the man. He's the man.
But those kind of shows really do like annoy the hell out of me, man. Give me an ending. I'm watching TV. This is my time to get away from life.
Right.
You know, so what do? I turn on documentaries to watch life.
Well, right. The thing is, the documentary never really ends after the documentary. Then you want to see the extra videos or the extra dialogue to what came out. What were the truths? What were the fallacies in how they did the documentary?
I'll give you guys a good one. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. That's one you guys have to watch.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna check that one out.
It's a good take on the Wounded Knee thing. It's still you're getting a lot of one-sidedness to it, but still it's a good combination. It's a good blend, right? So check out that one. It happened. I was at that place, so
Is that the one that came on HBO?
I don't know. The book was written by Dan Brown years ago, and then they made a couple of documentaries about it. So you can just look it up. Look, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, and it should pop up in your search engine.
Yeah.
That's a very good documentary, and people don't realize what. I mean, the UN was on the Native American side in that, and they had to pull back out of it because we can't go against America, right? Oh,
Yeah. Hey, Scott, man, just the prize thing, man. The prize is being here with your buddies, okay?
yes.
You won. You have won the jackpot, my friend.
Yes. You're the
Don't
prize.
stuff roadkill, right?
You're the prize today.
People get to sit here and watch your face covered up by your serial killer name.
Yeah.
And
Nobody will
Ben,
know.
what's up with you today, man? These labels are a little bit high today, aren't they?
These labels.
Even Sean's having trouble getting around the corner there.
No, everything's fine on my end. I don't know. Sean
Well, on
cleared
the screen,
his
your face is completely covered up. Well, your mouth part anyway.
We're good. We're clear.
on my light a little bit. Let's see.
I need the light.
No. You don't need no light. You already got a lot of back glare there.
Okay. What? Everything's
You're
good,
good,
right?
man.
You can see-
You're good,
okay,
man.
okay. Yeah. So Sean now he's got that thing all cleared up and everything on the camera. Yeah.
I'm good.
Foggy.
We're good.
I really would like to hear Anthony Handy's comments on this, because we
Get him
know
up.
Anthony is a historian.
Yes.
Come on.
I tried to get. I don't know if I'm gonna try that again. Send him a link. I never know when he's working anymore, man.
He got a new job. So,
Yep.
I think he's. Let me see. I sent him one.
Did you? All right.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other stuff you guys are gonna watch? Any other documentaries you got put in your queue or put in your list? I mean,
I'm huge. I am right now. I've noticed I'm really been big into a mixture of, Remember how they used to have those things on like MTV about, the 80s, like the little 80s
Oh, yeah,
shows,
yeah.
something like
Vice
that.
Networks. Vice Networks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark
Yeah.
Side of the
Yeah.
90s. Yeah, that's
Yep.
great.
Right.
Dark Side of the
So I've
90s.
been really interested in those. But then also, like, honestly, I've been really interested in kind of like timelining my life and then some of the news stories that have gone on. Because, like, for instance, the week of the 92 riots, my sister was born. And I remember I was 9 years old and I had no knowledge of that going on. And my parents are very big into the movement, if you will, or being proud, African Americans, this and that. So
talk about a one-sided media thing. Now that the media portrayed that. Remember on CNN, all you got to see was the guy getting hit upside the head with a brick. The truck driver getting dragged out, hit upside the head with a brick. Over and over and over again. They didn't open that up. It's like was it Freddie Gray in Baltimore? They didn't open that up to show the whole story. They just showed the bad parts of the story.
Yes.
You know?
Yep. Yeah.
That's why I got into doing what we do.
Yeah. It all started with Rodney King, the 4 LAPD taking him out of the vehicle, beating him up. And that's
it was more than 4 that were beating him up, but 4 got on trial.
Right. 4 got on trial. Okay. Correct. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's always a good one. I saw that one on Netflix. It was like the 92, whatever they called that. I forget what the name of it was, but that was very interesting. Yeah, no, that's cool that you're going back to your timeline of your life. The one I was watching recently was the Woodstock in '99. Remember that 3-day Woodstock '99? It turned into a disaster. People were, overdosing. They were, and like they're saying that musicians are the one that was causing the, the riots there, like people beating each other up there. But that's on they did one for Max and then they did one for Netflix. So it's Woodstock '99. It's a musical document how that came to be. It was like the 25th or 30th anniversary.
Well, one of your headliners was who is it? The guys who sing "Killing in the Name of." Yeah. Well, anyhow, you get the point. Woodstock originally was the peace and love generation, and their whole thing was billed as peace and love, and then Woodstock '99 comes along, and it's more like let's kick all their asses.
Yeah, it's like a Annie kind of Woodstock, like outlaw, no law, no nothing, fend for yourselves kind of thing. The music was, and that's what. Speaking of serial killers,
the Woodstock, you can call him Duck Dynasty.
Don't be mad, Sean. North Carolina sports. You're not good for the World Series. By the way,
Alex, real quick, I know this is off subject, but who won that game last night? Oral Roberts or Oregon?
Oh, they're gonna win today though, so I ain't gotta worry about it.
Oral Roberts came back last night, remember?
Oral Roberts.
So don't worry. 6 p.m. Eastern time. Oregon's gonna beat Oral Roberts, and yeah.
So Alex,
some sports, North Carolina can't make it to the Super Regionals. So, it's okay.
Alex,
wow.
Documentaries. What have you watched lately? What have you watched lately on documentaries?
I mean, knowing that today's topic is documentaries, I have nothing. I just came here to, shoot the shit.
Man.
Oh, in other words, try to take us off topic, huh?
No, I rather hear from you guys. So you guys are the documentary experts. So.
Well, Scott's favorite documentary is Barney Miller.
I remember that. Good.
Look at me. I'm a biologist. I know what that is. What the hell was that?
Oh man.
Sorry about that, Sean.
Don't worry, Ben.
We're good.
Hell, I thought you'd be the last one to laugh at that because I don't think you're old enough to remember Barney Miller.
His father
funny
was
thing
in
is-
TV, dude. Come on.
No, but the funny thing is, I'm actually one of my favorite channels is Turner Classic Movies. I love watching the older movies, the older sitcoms, and this is weird. It's a kind of weird thing. I have an obsession of looking at all the older movies and playing a game called Find a Black Guy. There's one. He's a maid. Oh, okay, cool.
Don't try to watch Maltese Falcon.
No, I know there's some movies it's like we're turning up with zero, but I still I love to see the past. I love to see how things were run and things like that. You'd be surprised with some of the movies that I love to watch. One of my favorites, Double Indemnity. It always comes up on Turner Classic Movies. I'm a huge just fan of some of those movies.
Film
noirs.
North by Northwest was a good movie for me.
Yep,
That was one of Marilyn Monroe's movies. I liked anything with Jane Mansfield in it until she lost her head. There's another good documentary, the Jane Mansfield documentary. You watch that, man.
Which one is that, on Max or Netflix? Or?
I could not tell you.
Hulu?
It's been a long time since I've even seen it.
Is it on Hulu? I think it might be on Hulu.
It could be on Hulu. You might be right.
I think I've seen the previews. Go ahead.
Marilyn Monroe. I think that one's on Netflix. They just recently came out with that one. I might have to check that one out.
If the ending of that does not have Jackie Kennedy having her assassinated, I don't know. Come on.
Well, she dated John F. Kennedy. Yeah,
I didn't say it.
Joe DiMaggio.
As powerful as Jacqueline Kennedy was, and to have your husband flaunting that in your face, come on, man. Who's prime suspect number one? And never a mention about her, you know? I mean, I've heard it mentioned lately, but in the 60s and 70s, that was forbidden talk.
So talk about
just like multiple bullets.
So you're talking about possibly, you're thinking maybe, not you specifically, but thinking that Jacqueline Kennedy may have had involvement in her husband's assassination.
I kind of think the whole nation felt that way at the beginning.
Come on, bro. You don't think that? We got video, we got camera, we got all that stuff. And the FBI was, giving pictures and giving, tapes of all this stuff back to her. Like, yo, your husband's doing dirty. He's doing this like that.
100%.
If you got any question that they was not wiretapping and having people tell them, you look at the civil rights movement right there. That's what I love to see, is the espionage. Yeah. J. Edgar Hoover and his whole war against the civil rights movement, and seeing how they planted certain people and seeing how they monitored that whole situation.
Transvestite J. Edgar Hoover.
Right. Him and his, and they don't know. I love all the extra documentaries. One came out and said he's actually black. I was like, wait, what? What is happening?
Imagine if you had the technology we had today that we could have had back in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Oh man, it would be a different world. You would find so much more.
Would it be though? Really? How different would it be? Because there's a lot of shit that should be obvious, and it just goes untalked about still today. You know what I mean?
People believe what they want to believe.
Right. It's like that old song. Was it OPP?
Oh, Naughty by Nature. You down with OPP?
Other people's.
Yeah. It was. There was a line in it about, who you going to believe, me or your lying eyes?
Yes.
Real eyes, real lies, real lies.
That's why conspiracy theories are so rampant, man.
Yep.
It's because a lot of people just don't want to hear the truth. They'd rather hear a convoluted conspiracy theory that makes absolutely no sense on the surface than to hear anything that's true, because it conflicts with their own beliefs.
I agree.
Do you guys think that the JFK assassination correlates with Marilyn Monroe's death and everybody else that perished within that time period? Because they never really came up with who really assassinated. Was it the Russians? You know, it could have gone all the way back to John Wilkes Booth. You know what I mean?
The latest theory that I've heard is that it had something to do with the mafia or something like that. Because it wasn't just one person. It wasn't the lone killer situation.
Yeah. There it is. Realize, man. Yeah. That's like one of my favorite
Classic
quotes. Yeah.
Classic.
You know. So,
I mean, why would the government be hiding all the facts from us? Is it to protect us? Is it to protect them?
to protect
A little bit of both, I'd say.
Well,
like with UFO conspiracies, okay, I'm pretty sure the government knows by now that the American public don't give a fuck. If there's UFOs, fine, open it up, let us see it. You know what I mean?
some people do, Johnny.
Now, the one organization, which is probably the most powerful organization in the world, for years and years, denied it, would put people to the stake for mentioning it, burn them, and that's the Catholic Church. Okay? So for years and years, there was reason for the governments, not just ours, to kind of keep that on the down low, because you really don't want to go into a war against the Catholic Church. But even the Pope's talking about, hey, you know what? There could be people everywhere. So I don't think it's that big of a shock nowadays. And the world didn't explode when they released those tapes. What, last year, a year before, with the UFO documentary, the government UFO stuff. We're not really that immature it's hard to say that sometimes, but we're not really that immature as a society that we can't handle a little bit of the truth about UFOs, you know?
Honestly, since the 90s and since all of those TV shows and all the movies, it's almost become commonplace for people to be like, there's something out there.
I think that was planned also.
Yeah, it was a propaganda movement. That's what they do. And that's where, to your point, Scott, I think there is a certain overall that they want put out there, and there's a lot of stuff that they don't want.
Right, they want to build acceptance for certain things, and they want to, just like, they don't need to hear this about other things.
Well, I never believed in UFOs until, Johnny knows, I actually saw one up close. I mean, it wasn't hiding from me. Either it didn't see me looking at it or what. And this thing was just huge. Like I've told Johnny, I think it was between 600 and 900 foot wingspan of a reverse wing aircraft. And the power that would take for one of those, something that size, to actually stop and hover and stand still, the power source isn't even known. I know a power source because my brother invented it, but the government pays him not to pursue it. So,
well,
I mean, tell us that.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to tell us that?
It's no big secret.
Once again, the FBI is at the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna go hide under a rock.
Well, he has a process to remove all.
Come to the bunker, Nathan. Come to the bunker.
He has a
Mueller and Scully
process.
now.
Wait a minute, you guys did not just catch that. You see how close Sean Spencer is to the bunker, and he's talking about come to the bunker. Does he have easy access there?
Hey,
well, and Alec too.
Hey, listen.
Oh, it's the quiet one. Right?
No.
Alec can't say much because he's active service. So
yeah,
that's true.
He's got classified information.
Alec could get in a lot of trouble today, couldn't he?
Yeah.
Man, this is fun today, guys. I had a lot of fun on this show, man. This is good.
I enjoyed this. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. I want to ask you one more question, Nathan.
Yes, sir.
On your study, what exactly are you studying in the criminology? What were you studying for? To like CSI
This
or
is just a class. It's an elective,
okay, an elective?
so it's just
Oh,
a
I
class.
understand electives.
Yeah. So I mean, because my major is communication studies, and my minor is sociology. So it's just I need
Good
as an
grouping.
elective. So
Nice, nice.
Sociology. We could have really hit on that in this show.
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think everything has a sociological and a psychological perspective. When it comes to certain crimes and certain ideologies and stuff like that.
Well,
Just
yeah, considering there is a evolving sociology to begin with. I mean, what was socially acceptable 10 years ago is no longer socially acceptable today, and that's always been that case. That's always from the when my generation started up. What was socially acceptable for us was no longer socially acceptable for the people 10 years after us, or it was a completely different story 10 years before. Think about this. 10 years before my generation, it was socially acceptable for a 50-year-old man to marry a 14-year-old girl. Okay. That was socially acceptable. That was how it was supposed to be. The man was supposed to be uh, in charge of the family, worked, had his bank accounts, his life was already set up so that he could raise a family. And then after my generation, it changed to the 18 period and stuff, right? It's always changed. Sociology is a completely evolving creature. Slow in some instances, very, very slow in certain instances, but it'll eventually get there where everybody needs it to be. I think. I've seen a lot of changes in my life, man. And most of them, I'm going to say this, most of the changes we've evolved through have been good for people. Some not quite so good. Some others are still debatable, but you know, for the most part, the cancel culture has always existed. I, it's never not existed. It's just people don't see it that way. Uh, People
well,
don't
I think
say,
with social
"I'm
media now
glad." I
on the
wished I
individual
could.
age, I think plays a role into that.
Yeah,
Say again.
I think we're in the digital age now, so of course with being on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, social media, I think plays a role into what cancel culture is because you know
yeah, of course.
people will say some things that are off the Richter scale, and there are some people who don't think that will affect for certain groups, certain genders, etc. So, I mean, there's no filter, there's no really true gatekeeping on media today, which plays a role into cancel culture, in my opinion.
What really gets me is the old timers who sit there and complain that they can't drink out of water hoses no more, like they used to when they were kids, or they can't eat paint off walls. Oh, well, think about it. You were letting your kids eat lead paint. You
Right.
find out it's not good for them. What do? You cancel that shit.
Right.
You want to keep feeding them lead paint?
People don't want to move on. They don't want to progress at
Right.
times. They want to do that, and that's what I think. That's what I think gets caught up in the whole. Let's go back to the way things used to be. Like the way things used to be is not all encompassing. That's just you and your mindset of how you can't do those old things. That's why we moved up and moved on. The same old remedies, the same old thing. We've got to a place where we have the benefit of all the science and technology and all these things that have shown us new ways and better ways to do this. Why not take advantage of that? You know what I
Called
mean?
evolution. It's called evolution.
When I was growing up, I had a black foster brother. He was adopted at the same time I was adopted by my parents, right? And this is in
Soul
Central
brother.
Florida. This was in Central Florida,
Oh.
and you couldn't drive down Highway 27 in Florida without the KKK out there, barricades and shit, trying to pull people out of cars and shit. So I don't have that many fond remembrances of the late 60s, early 70s that a lot of people in Florida might have. And so it really irritates me when they say shit like that. And it's like, Yeah, I'm kind of glad we're not in that era no more, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I remember my dad driving through a roadblock with KKK out there, M14s in their hand. Well, not M14s, but it was these fucking big ass guns in their hands. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
it was not a good era to me. I couldn't stand that shit. But I knew my friends. The friends that came around were friends. You know what I mean?
There you go.
That's one thing about it.
Just like the when you put out a call that you're gonna do a show on a Sunday and all the friends showed up.
Yeah, and all my friends showed up. Look at this.
There you go.
Love
There you
it.
go.
And on
Scott,
that-
what's serial killer? What's going on over there?
I'm too recognizable with my Rams in my face. I just didn't want to let the FBI get too close to look
Scott, what about all the footage up until that point, Scott? They already know who you are, man.
Yeah. They've been monitoring your house the whole time.
I've already been investigated by OIG, so what the hell with the FBI?
Oh my goodness.
Well, this show's went way over what I thought it was going to go over. We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes now. So,
Hey, Johnny,
Well,
what's the
let-
question?
let everybody-
This guy.
huh?
Facebook
What
user?
now?
Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick, there's a Facebook user question. I thought
This
it
last
looked
one?
pretty interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting question.
Sounds like a president or something.
I don't know. I kind of vaguely remember hearing something about the magnetic propulsion that was getting shut down. Shit. Where did you see that at, and who are you? I think that sounds like a Jim Melvin question to me.
Hey.
Shout out to
Yep,
Jim
there
Melvin
they are.
on his book,
There they
man.
are.
It's a great read, no doubt.
Well, your friend Scott could probably tell you the answer to that one, Johnny.
Aren't you, Scott?
No, Scott.
Oh.
Scott Brown.
Oh, yeah, Scott Brown. Yeah, that would be a question to ask Scott Brown, since he is the only rocket scientist I know. Alec, did you jump out, or do you want back in, or what?
Hey.
I don't know what the heck happened. Like, I already fixed my camera, and then it kicked me out of the whole thing. I was like, well, there's that.
Well, we're about. Oh, Moser. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I haven't seen you around in a while. Yeah, I don't know who. Yeah, Moser.
Nice.
I don't have a clue. I do vaguely remember hearing about that, but I can't. Man, I watch so many of these damn shows, man. It's hard to keep them all lined up. I didn't even get to bring up the Canadian serial killer from Edmonton, where our friend Alex Lismore and Andrew Faubert are from.
But Johnny, we had a good conversation though, man.
We did, man. We did. Nathan, I'm going to let everybody know where to find you from.
Thank you. First and foremost for bringing me on. This is a great conversation. I enjoyed it. Again, you guys can find me here on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at @Nathan_Snell. And you can also follow my work on MarylandSportsBlog.com. Have been a little bit slow with some publication of some articles due to summer school. We'll try to pick it back up. I write for the Washington Mystics and the Maryland women's basketball team. I'm hoping that will evolve into covering some other teams, Ravens, Commanders,
Towson.
But Towson, hopefully. You can also follow my podcast on Apple or Spotify or YouTube as well. Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Yeah, that's where you can find me. You can also find me with the Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. Sean, I think we're still doing the Sunday show this season, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Yep. So you can find me there. You can also find me with these guys when we're playing fantasy football as myself, the reigning champion for the Baltimore Elite.
Wow.
The reigning champion.
I think we need a 30 for 30 for that because things were a little iffy.
Okay.
iffy.
Leave it to a Washington guy to throw it. To throw it through.
You know, I don't know, man. Some sanctions are in the future. All right, partner.
That's great. Ben,
Yo.
you can find
Oh
you
yeah, you
guys.
can find me. You can find me in my
Here?
room right here. Yeah.
Oh.
Also, you can find me here on the entertainment show with Johnny Dean most of the time.
Yes, sir.
Also, we got the NFL edition every Thursday nights. We got Have At It every Friday nights on my show with Johnny, Sean, Alec, anybody who wants to come on. It's just a free for all. We talk about anything and everything. We also got a Face the Heels wrestling show that I do every Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We'll do one tomorrow night as well. And I'm going to do a Let's Buck with Ben within the next few weeks or so. It's a seasonal show, obviously, but once the season, we get the preseason, regular season, it'll be more frequently. But probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll do a Let's Buck with Ben. And Johnny, you're a Bucks fan. Alec, you're a Bucks fan. If you want to join me, let's do it. Talk Bucks and everything. So, yeah, and I got my Ben Zone Facebook page. I put all these shows on there so everybody can see. And my Twitter handle is right there, BennyBoy702. Give me a follow. And also my YouTube channel, BenCornett9015.
Hey, real quick, Brent, I got a question for you. Are you going to do an episode on the most disrespected TNA wrestler, Monty Brown?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, we're gonna do that. Nathan, I want you to be on there. And you know what? I'm gonna try to expand into doing kind of like biographies or like profile topics and stuff. We could definitely do one of those. On the Face the Heels. We could do like a profile. Maybe I won't do one live, but I'll do one, record one, and then put one out. So yeah, just let me know, Nathan, if you want to come on, man.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Let me know.
I will definitely.
Mr. Scott Thaler, serial killer.
Yeah, you can catch me on Entertainment Review with Johnny. He can fill you on the times because I'm never sure. And it was J.M. Custer that he wanted to know who it was that was with the invented the magnetic car.
Magnetic lift. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw your comment there. Yeah. All right.
So,
and
I was gonna say, if you get a call from a correctional facility, you have the option to accept it or not. So it'll probably be from Missouri somewhere. So anyway,
I'll accept, buddy. I'll accept. All right.
Mr. Sean Spencer, the businessman on Facebook.
For many years, I had the NSA sitting out in front of my
house.
All
right, Scott, you had your chance.
Oh my God. First and foremost, I am no way associated with Scott Taylor. I don't know all this stuff he's been talking about. I'm not in it. All right. But it is Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo. Let's Talk Football. We will be coming live tomorrow with our new show, Truth Be Told. Myself, Nicholas Rosario. I'll definitely throw out the link. We're gonna be talking. Tomorrow's topic is the X Factor, THEX-Factor. So we'll be talking about our exes. Thankfully, I'm getting all out while Catherine is not here. So hopefully she doesn't watch.
She has been suspiciously missing for a while.
Johnny, come on, man. Come on. I told you stop, man. Stop. All right.
Hey, look at that picture behind Sean's wall there. Look at that picture, right?
What's that? And we will be doing Tuesday nights, Let's Talk College Football. Wednesday, Washington Football Weekly. Thursday, I'll be hopping on with these guys, potentially Friday as well. And then the college show next Saturday, I'm pretty sure, man. Hey, talking football, talking life, doing whatever. Just love to talk. And don't listen to these people. I'm a good guy. And just because
he's a great guy. He don't downplay. You're a great dude, man. I have to put this up. And Sean, you be getting that wildfire smoke up there right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay. This is getting insane. See, there's always a conspiracy about something that's so plain. We know there's wildfires in Canada, and yes, they were getting here because one thing you're missing in this whole comment here, Moser, dude, when we walked out the door, you could smell wood smoke. You could smell it. It was wildfire smoke we were getting. It was thick. There was no mistaking it with titanium nitrate. And it's always a conspiracy about every friggin' thing that happens, man. Does it not seem like that, Sean?
Yeah. It always happens. And his next comment. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm not even gonna respond to that.
Sean, what other videos are you recording? Because it looks like
I'm not doing that. See, I'm not even going to. You know, hey, Alex is here now. Look, it's not me. I'm not in here responding to comments. You know what? Ladies and gentlemen, you see what the shirt says. We out. I'm out of here. I'm not going to be subjected to this. I love you guys. Peace. All right.
And with that, we're going to end the show. Hope you catch us on Tuesday. Me and Scott on Tuesdays. And
at 1 o'clock, right?
It was it Tuesday and Friday? I think that's it.
It was Monday too.
At 1 o'clock your time, 2 o'clock my time.